Hello, my name is Kezia Hines. Thank you for tuning in to my show, The Kezia Hines Show. This is my very first episode. It is not in a space where I wanted it to be. I'm not wearing what I wanted to wear, but a friend of mine said, Kezia, you just have to get started. And here I am, getting started, kind of unprepared, but if I don't start, I don't know where it will head. I am basically an example of overcoming fear and doubts, and like I would want to say, mastering fear and doubt. I've also learned that everything in life happens for a reason. If I knew better, I would be doing better. So taking all of those life lessons and things that I've learned over the years, I want to incorporate it into where I want this show to go. Here's my journey. I grew up in Guyana, that's in South America, for those of you who do not know. Most of my life I spent in Linden, Guyana. Growing up, I used to want to become a teacher, and I remember as a child I would beat on the fence and try to teach them math and English, a fence that was not talking back to me, but I was doing all the talking and all the screaming and all the beating, and the fence would not budge. But and I was also teaching myself while I was teaching the fence. Obviously, I was never really a good math student. I've always done really well at English and English literature. So I came out of high school with the same mentality that I would want to be a teacher, but I didn't apply to teachers training college. Coming out of school, sometimes it's very hard to find a job. None of those places would hire me. I applied to the bank, but I didn't do too well at math, so I guess my application was thrown out of the door. And I wasn't too worried because my parents were in Canada, and they were supporting me to the best that they were able to. I mean, I'm an adult, I'm living on my own, and I just needed to find my own way, right? So about a few months after, one of my relatives kind of offered me a job. Heard of a job, and through their links, I was employed at a health center. I stayed there for about 3 months before I was contacted by an old teacher who they were having a startup business. Her husband and his brother, mostly the brother, was part of a startup company, a marketing company, and they were looking for someone to work with them. I had to be on TV. So I'm on TV producing this show every Friday, I believe it was. This is such a long time ago. And I know it was my first show and I should have all the information, but this was a very long time ago. 2002, 2003, just around that time, or maybe 2004. I don't even remember, like I said. So all I know, I was back home and I was producing Healthy Living. About a year or so after producing Healthy Living, I started working with the National Communications Networks. It was the only television station in my community, Linden. And how I got that job, a friend of mine, actually when I was producing the show Healthy Living, I used to go to the to NCN, the National Communications Network, and I would have my show shown through there. One of the employees are like, Kizzy, I know they're not hiring, but maybe try, because you're really good on camera. So I tried. I sent in an application, I got an interview, and I was hired. They hired me as a trainee producer. As a trainee producer at the time, I was anchoring the news. I wasn't supposed to be doing that because I'm a trainee producer. But the people who taught me very well. So at that time, I was anchoring the news, the 6 o'clock news I think we used to produce the news on the weekend at that time because they didn't have too much staff. So it was just one time in the week newscast, and it was pre-recorded most of the times. I was doing voiceovers for like death announcements, birthday requests, ads wasn't too much of my favorite thing, but I really did well with the death announcements and the birthday requests because I didn't have to be so hype all the time and changing my voice kind of thing. So I was going to court, doing stories at the court, a whole lot of things, right? I was doing infomercials, etc. So being a trainee producer, like I said, I was taught a whole lot by the person who trained me, and I decided that, you know what, I really want to be compensated for all that I do. I asked to be promoted. They weren't promoting, so I just had to be where I was at the time. Then fate, if you believe in fate, would have it that the transmission station of NCN, the transmission portion or the transmission department, it was not in the same compound, but it was like about a 50 minutes drive away from where we were, up on the hill. It had a fire, and the CEO and the Prime Minister came to the community, and the CEO of the company, NCN was actually state owned. So the CEO came at a time, and I said, you know what, let me approach him with this idea. I don't want to be just a trainee producer anymore. So happens that they were doing a live broadcast, and on the live broadcast, people in the community were calling in, and my name kept coming up, and I kept getting lots of compliments about how well I was doing. So the day after, we had a meeting with the CEO, and I was telling him that, you know, that I wanted to either leave and come to the city where the main TV station was, or get a better position as maybe a producer, no longer a producer trainee. So he decided to offer me a position right there that I didn't want. And I said, you know what, I would much prefer, it was a higher position, but I just didn't want to do it. It would have been too much responsibilities for me. I'm young. I'm probably 19, 20. Too much responsibility at such a young age. So I decided not to take that position. But then instead I asked, can I just come to the city and work at the news station as a reporter, at the NCN main station as a reporter? He said he'll get back to me. HR basically contacted me a few days after and said, you have the position, we'll start you as a news reporter, but you have 1 month to get here. Now, I'm from Linden. It's 75 miles away from Georgetown, where the main station, like I said, was. I'm thinking, where will I stay? All kinds of things. I had a month to figure it out, but I did say I'm going to take the job without knowledge of anything else. And I started as a reporter in the newsroom at NCN Channel 11 in Georgetown. Wasn't too long before my editor-in-chief said, Kizia, I'm going to promote you as a senior reporter. You're going to be covering the Prime Minister beat. At that time, I think I was covering social services or something like that, or perhaps education. I don't remember, like I said, but I remember I was promoted to cover the Prime Minister beat, and I would do backups for the president. Now, that was big, like to become a senior reporter in and they were like maybe at the time 15 other reporters. I don't remember, maybe less, I don't know. But we were the biggest news agency at the time, right? So we had lots of reporters. So I'm now senior reporter, obviously. Um, some people had issues with, me just coming and becoming a senior reporter, things like that. But when you have the gift, God promotes you to places that you don't even think you'll be promoted. So, anyways, so I'm covering the Prime Minister beat. The Prime Minister and his staff, they're loving me. The liaison, me and the Prime Minister actually had the same last name at the time. And they loved me. They loved how well I did my job, things like that. So all of the assignments, whether or not we're going to cover it for the news agency, I used to be invited to these assignments. I went on presidential outreaches and things like that. About how many years after? 2 or 3 years after, I left for Canada, and I left that lifestyle behind me. I came to Canada. I did not know what I was going to do. I was thinking about going into social work because I didn't have, as much as I loved being a news reporter, I didn't have the best of experiences. There was lots of politics, and I got threats. My life was in danger a few times, and there was so much mentally that I was like, I'm not going to deal with that, especially in North America. Also, coming to Canada with an accent, I'm like, which news agency would want me with a Caribbean accent, right? I decided to do a diploma in media communications, where I was doing mostly like web design and like writing for the web kind of thing. And when that program was done, my program coordinator, one of the coordinators, like, Kizia, you should continue doing this. Why don't you sign up for the journalism degree that they were now offering? So I'm like, okay, perhaps I could spend another 3 years at school, because I really don't know what else I'm trying to do outside of school. I got credits for my diploma, 3 years of the journalism program, and then I got pregnant. So that life for sure was completely outside of the door, and I just needed a job to support my child. My first job, actually, at the time, I got an offer to work with the Canadian Armed Forces writing, but I decided not to take that job because it was way too far, and I would have been like 2 hours away from my child one way every day, and I did not want to do that. I would have to move to a different province kind of thing, and I really did not want to do all of that. So I did whatever job I could do at the time, and to support my son. And then I got married and got another son. And at that time, I was working for the federal government of Canada, and that was job security. So here I am today, still working with the federal government. I do have other businesses that I control, or I own, I would say, because I own them. I wrote my first children's book, and I'm very proud of that. And I have an affirmations book also out. Both books can be bought on Amazon. I will put the link down below, wherever, just in case. When you have an idea or a plan to do something that you really want to do, obviously there's going to be those fears and those doubts. And I feel like the first thing we should do is just sit with those thoughts. Why are they coming up? What is going on? Where are they coming from? Kind of thing. And if you want, you can write it down, write the thoughts down, or the things that you fear would happen if you just start, or what is making you doubt what you're doing. You can, always write those things down. The second thing is learning how you can overcome those fears and those doubts. We're all different. So what may work for me may not work for you. What worked for me is the fact that I had to find motivation in what I'm doing, because I know that there is going to be somebody out here who wants to hear what it is that I have to say. And being blessed with that gift of a voice that people can listen to, I decided, well, you know what? I have to say something because people will listen to me. And I choose to say things that are positive, things that are uplifting, things that will help people along their life journey. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. But I do believe that if we all use the gifts that we have, it will make for a better world. So here I am sharing my gift of speech with you all. And one of the things I must say before I leave, because I'm going to leave now, because I have to think about content to give you guys for the next session or the next episode. Before I leave, I want to just say this. Let's take a moment, go within, and we're going to do an affirmation. And today's affirmation is, I let go of all fear and doubt. I let go of all fear and doubt. Thank you so much for taking time to tune in to listen to me. And I hope that you have an amazing evening, and I will see you again next Friday. I might be in my car, I might be in my house, I might be in the park watching my kids play, but I will bring to you guys something to look forward to next Friday. Okay? And as I grow, more things will come, and you guys will give me ideas, and I'll get to know I'll get to do more of the things that you want to see and want to hear. And but thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you again next week. Take care.